James, you want us to get up, run out of here, and kill every white person we see? No. No. I'm saying no. Of course not. Because as white as we are inside, if we kill them all physically, we just make another one.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Because the devil to which we are referring is the devil of self. See, you can't grow up in a society where you have been robbed of the light. I want you to look at this. One representative in Virginia, he stood up bragging. He said, we have closed every avenue by which light can enter the slave's mind. Do you know what that means? We have closed every passageway, every avenue by which wisdom, knowledge can come into the slave's mind. He was boasting that. You see? And then he said, now all that is left for us to do is to extinguish their desire to see the light. And we will be saved. Now that's heavy. That's heavy. What is it about black people having knowledge that threatens the safety of white people? This is what they should teach in school. They don't teach that kind of stuff in school. Because the educational system systematically produces slaves, and it was designed to do so.
That's right.
All right. If all of what we said is true, and it is, what is our recourse, brothers and sisters? Shall we remain as we are?
No, sir.
Shall we consign the next generation to live under this tyranny, this racism, sexism, materialism? Huh? Shall we?
No, sir.
But we are. We look at our children, and sure, some of what they do and what they say sets our teeth on edge. It's some of the things and crimes, that acts that they commit are so heinous. It makes us think about disowning them because we don't know what to do with them. Shooting each other down in the street. And when they drive by, they don't drive by in the white neighborhood. Ain't nobody driving by in Universal Studios. Is that right?
That's right.
We drive by in the ghetto. That's right. And kill our people now. Well, yes, that's wrong. But these are effects. They're not causes. Martin Luther King said as much. He said that when you deprive, he said it is incontestable that there are crimes in the ghetto, in the black community. Incontestable. We can't argue that point. He said, but they are derivative crimes.
That's right.
Meaning that the cause of which, the source of the crime, is derived from another circumstance and condition that the people in the ghetto have no power over, no control over.
That's right.
They are, he continues, deprived of the light. He says, so if the people are living in darkness and as a result of that darkness, they commit these heinous crimes, then who is responsible? The one committing the crime or the one who deprived the people of the darkness? This is your brother and mine, Martin Luther King Jr., who was more than a dreamer.
That's right.
They like to just, whenever they remember him, gave us a holiday in his name. Whenever we remember them, they say, his great speech, I have a dream. But they don't ever tell you that Martin Luther King Jr. said, I fear that the dream has become a nightmare. He said that.
That's right.
He said, I fear that I am leading the people to integrate into a house that is burning down. That's what he said. But they don't tell you that. Huh? So the question as I come to my conclusion, brothers and sisters, is what do we do? What do we do? Well, let's look at the options. We can stay here in an inferior condition and position and hope that white folk will change their ways. We can do that. That's an option. And certainly an option we have been pursuing because we've been doing that for I don't know how long. Huh? Let's look at some of the options that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan underscores in these labels of conditions: integration, separation, segregation. What's the other one where you marry into other people? Miscegenation, right? Some of y'all brothers like that one. I mean, marry white girls.
Come on, brother. Ouch.
My young brother said, no, it ain't me. That's right, brother. And that's why you so valuable.
That's right. That's right.
And that's why those that led us into the promised land wasn't them old heads
That's right.
that gave Moses all that hell. God told them to die out in the wilderness, so they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years on a trip that should have only taken 4 months. So that young people, which is referred to as the Joshua generation. See, that's y'all. These young brothers right here, beautiful young brothers right there. Stand up, brothers. Let me look at y'all. Let's give them a round. See, that's our promise.
That's right. That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? And we could be a part of that too.
Yes, sir.
Because the Joshua generation is not necessarily biological age or determined by biological age. It's the mindset.
That's right.
I consider myself a member of the Joshua generation.
Come on now. Yes, sir.
Because I do not want to live among white folks any longer.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I want to unite and do something for myself,
That's right. Yes.
either on this continent or elsewhere.
Yes, sir.
And I believe because of giving our sweat, blood, lives, and labor for this Caucasian for 400 years that we have earned the right to a separate state or territory of our own, either on this continent or elsewhere, and that the area must be fertile and minerally rich. I believe, come on.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And I also believe
Come on.
that they are obligated to maintain and supply our needs for the next 20 to 25 years until we are able to supply our own needs.
That's right.
Isn't that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's your money there. This dude Fiker been taking. Who is Fiker?
Go ahead.
Everybody know him?
No, sir. Getting hand.
But look, you know, if I just had this small gathering of people here to work for me for 1 month, I don't pay you nothing.
Come on. Go ahead.
And I say nothing, I mean nothing.
Go ahead.
And all of what you earn, the fruit thereof, you bring it to me.
That's right.
Just for 1 month. My pockets will be swole, won't they?
Yes, sir.
Just for 1 month. Can you imagine having millions of people work for you for not 1 month, not 1 year, but for 400 years or 390 years? And you don't pay them nothing? Can you imagine how rich the employer would be? But that's real. See, that's America. America didn't get powerful and rich like she is in a vacuum. She had millions of slaves working for centuries for nothing.
That's right.
That's right.
And that's why she's so rich and powerful. So that's our money.
Yes, sir.
These streets, they belong to us.
Yes, sir. That's right.
The Universal Studio, that's ours.
Yes, sir.
Disney World, that's ours.
Yes, sir.
Sea World, that's ours. All of it belongs to us.
Right.
Now, we're not asking you to give it all to us. We're just saying a separate state or territory of our own. And because we worked for you so long without a payday and made you rich and powerful, we now believe that you owe us. Of course they do.
Yes, sir.
But you say, well, white folk ain't gonna give us nothing.
Go.
Well, perhaps they won't willingly.
That's right.
But don't you believe in God?
Yes, sir.
Don't you believe in justice?
Yes, sir.
There's a prophecy in the beginning of the Bible, in the book of Genesis, wherein an angel of the Lord appeared to Abram, who was then called Abram, and they said, know of a surety, Abram, that your seed will be a stranger in a land that is not theirs.
Right.
And they shall be afflicted for 400 years. They ain't talking about white folk.
No, sir.
I know we see the Ten Commandments every year. I like to watch it myself with that boy Charlton Heston. Boy, he acts his behind off, don't he? I mean, it's a good movie. It's entertaining. But it ain't talking about that.
That's right.
It's talking about you.
That's right.
And here's an angel of the Lord saying, but after the 400 years, I will come. That's heavy.
Yes, sir.
Where are you coming from, God? I thought you were here. Yeah, I'm here, but I'm in the east. So as lightning shineth out of the east, even unto the west, I'm coming to the carcasses that are in bondage in a modern Egypt.
Yes, sir.
And what you going to do? I'm going to judge the people that had them in bondage. And I'm going to free the people in bondage. And then what you going to do, God? Then I'm going to send them or bring them to their fathers, and they're going to die in a good old age. But I'm not leaving them out broke. See, that's the God that I worship.
That's right.
That's the God that has come. That's the God whose name is Allah, who came in the person of Master Muhammad.
That's right. That's right.
He came to judge and lead us out of bondage. Can you prove it? Yes, I can prove it. Look at, God said in the scripture, I'm going to raise one up like you, Moses, from the brothers. That's what it says in the scripture. Say brethren. But I'm making it a little more modern.
Right.
I'm going to raise one up like you, Moses, from the brothers. And he will do all that I command him. And he will speak all of the words that I put in his mouth. Now, you don't need someone like Moses unless you have someone like Pharaoh. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
And you don't need one like Moses unless you have a modern Egypt.
That's right.
And you don't need someone like Moses unless you have a modern children of Israel in bondage.
That's right.
That's us. God has come.
That's right.
And the modern day Moses is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
And he's going to lead us out of the bondage of 400 years of slavery.
That's right.
Okay, I got a few more minutes. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
I don't want to wear y'all out, your attention. I know our attention spans are not too long. But what is integration? Thank you, brother. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan states in an article, which is excerpted from a lecture he did in 1980, entitled The Question of Integration versus Separation. He said, Today we have to look at the terms integration, separation, and segregation. And behind these words, discover meaning. And behind the meaning, discover the intent of the parties who are advocating either way. If the intent of the government in advocating integration is to trick us into believing that our 400-year-old enemy has now become our friend, and that we should forgive and forget, and be glad to take part in this great American way of life, then the intent is evil. So the result of such evil intent can never bring justice to a people who are aggrieved. Do we have justice?
No, sir.
Have they offered us integration?
No, sir.
Oh, yes, they have. They offered us integration. Can't you go to the bathroom with them? Huh? Can't you eat in there? That's a hell of a thing, to fight and die so you can be in the bathroom so that whatever you're doing, the fumes can integrate.
Come on now. Come on, bro.
That's a heck of a thing to die for, right? You hate me, but I'm going to give my life so that you can feed me and cook my food. Now, this is heavy, man. But this is the manifestation of a slave mentality. Your manifest hatred of me, which you have expressed for many, many, many years, now a law is handed down that you have to let me in so that you can cook my food. You gonna eat that? Do you think it's wise to eat there? Do you think that the law will make them cook you righteous food? You don't think that they maybe, yeah, nigga, you can come in and sit down and eat? Here's your plate. I know what you ordered, but there's something in what you ordered that you didn't expect. But isn't that silly? All right, look. We now have to know not just the word and what it means, but we have to analyze the motivation as best we can of the United States government in advocating integration for blacks. Then we have to look at the practicality of integration or separation, which will work. And if integration will work, how? If separation will work, how? Then let's come to an equitable agreement on what we shall do. Can we, in the last few minutes of our lecture, come to an equitable agreement? Can we do that?
Yes, sir.
All right. What is segregation? When people criticized the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they said, oh, that man wants a segregation. But what does it mean? Segregation is separation of an inferior by a superior. I'll say it again. Segregation is separation of an inferior by a superior. Now, what is separation? Separation is a little different from segregation. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has said to us that separation is a voluntary act done by two equals who realize that they cannot get along in peace. Right. So they come to a decision that is best for us to separate. You go your way, I'll go mine. Now let's stop right there. Many of us who have married have divorced. Is that right? That's right. And in the process of divorce, or in the circumstance of divorce, you part from your husband or you part from your wife. But look, there are properties that are mutually owned. Is that right? Yes, you help your husband get what he's got. Is that right? Yes, sir. Huh? Yes, sir. You build up an economy based on both of your efforts. So when you divorce, you just don't walk away from each other. And especially if there's children. You say, well, I want child support, and I want, what is the other thing?
Alimony.